All right. So welcome. I'm Molly. I'm the head of programs for the IFH lab, and I'm joined today by Elvis Wong, who is the founder of the IFH lab, who's wave high, Elvis. So welcome, really excited to have you here. Today, we are going to, this is the agenda for today. So we're going to do a quick introduction to FinTech Cadence to start. Then we're going to dive into looking at the IFH Lab 2022 program. We'll do a quick program overview, talk about some of the content that we'll be covering, talk about timeline and eligibility, and then take a quick look at our industry experts as well as our past cohorts and some of their results and testimonials. And then we'll make sure you leave knowing how to apply if you're interested and give you a chance to ask any questions that you might have. So FinTech Cadence is a nonprofit based out of Montreal. We are Canada's FinTech hub. We've been around for 6 years, and we work on 3 pillars. Our mission is to advance the financial system to serve all Canadians for the better. And as I said, we do that through 3 pillars: education, support, and collaboration. So we work to educate folks who are interested in FinTech, who may or may not be involved in the ecosystem already, but want to get involved. We support early stage FinTech companies and founders through our programming, and then we collaborate with other ecosystem stakeholders to identify the key kind of problems or big questions facing FinTech and facing financial services, and work to solve them together. The programs that we run include the certificate, which is actually currently happening now. It's a 7-course program for professionals, students, folks who are interested in getting involved in FinTech and learning more. Even though it has started already, you can actually still sign up for individual certificate courses. So take a look at our website if that's something you'd be interested in. We have the Ascension program and the Formathon program that both work to support different stages of FinTech. So Ascension is our sort of general FinTech incubator program. Formathon is more at that ideation stage. And then of course the IFH lab, which we're going to talk about today. We also run a number of events throughout the year. So that includes the FinTech drinks. The first one is coming up March 30th, and that is around talent. So that could be super interesting to folks here today. So make sure to check that out. We also have the university series, which is how we connect with university clubs and university students to educate them about FinTech and help them figure out how they can get involved. And then we recently held our FinTech career fair as well. So IFH Lab, let's jump in because I know that's why you're all here today. And I'll pass it off to Elvis.
Great, thank you, Molly. Thank you everyone for joining us today. As Molly mentioned, I'm the founder of IFH Lab. It was previously called Innovate Financial Health. And the reason we exist is really to support founders that are focused on improving the financial lives of Canadians, particularly those more financially vulnerable, but that spans the gamut of if you're helping Canadians build financial literacy, to helping them access more affordable housing, to helping them deal with debt or build emergency savings. Our mission is very much around supporting Canadians and knowing that there's an opportunity for technology to address a bunch of these challenges that Canadians face, and making sure that founders like yourselves get access to the support they need in order to build solutions for Canadians. One thing to note is that we don't brand ourselves as a typical accelerator incubator program. We're not here to teach you entrepreneurship 101. There will be content on value proposition and marketing, etc. But the mission is really to assume that you have that base knowledge of how to build a startup, but give you access to the financial services ecosystem, nonprofits, regulators, investors to really help you build and scale your startups. So we're really tailored to the needs of each particular cohort and trying to adapt to that cohort. And something to note is that we're supportive of all types of founders. So some of you may be wanting to build venture-backed businesses that raise quite a bit of money and become huge scale-ups. Others may just want to build technology that's helping Canadians and building something that's sustainable, bootstrapped, etc. In our alumni portfolio, we have both of these types of solutions. So we have had half of our startups raise follow-on funding already, but quite a few have consciously decided that they have a solution that works, that's generating revenue, that's helping Canadians, and they don't want to take on additional funding. So since we don't take any equity, we don't take any fees, we want to primarily just support you on your journey, no matter which direction you want to go. So the reason we started IFH Lab was really we saw there was a gap in the ecosystem for mission-driven founders in fintech. So we really want to fill that gap. And I'll let Molly keep on going in terms of how the program works and the actual details of the program itself.
Awesome. Thank you, Albus. And one thing I wanted to quickly note that I realized I didn't say at the beginning is that if there are folks with us who feel more comfortable asking a question in French, we do have other FC team members on with us who can answer those questions in French for you or help facilitate that. So if French is more comfortable for you, by all means, ask your question in French. So in terms of program overview, as Alvis said, this is the first program in Canada dedicated specifically to financial health fintechs. And we offer cover three kind of key areas in terms of the programming. So mentorship is a huge part of it. We have over 100 mission-aligned industry experts from investors, large financial institutions, nonprofits, regulators, and many more, startups, former founders, etc. And we work with them through, primarily you would access them through our mentor speed dating, our mentor meetings, as well as through our demo days, our kickoff party or kickoff event that we hold at the beginning. And you will also, for the 2022 program, be assigned a program mentor who is one mentor who follows you over the course of the 6-month program, who assists you in setting your 6-month goals, in refining them, and then helps you stay on track towards achieving them by the end of the program. In terms of programming this year for 2022, you're looking at an in-person 3-day orientation session that would take place in Toronto, as well as an in-person demo day at the end of the program at the beginning of November. And then in between May through November, there are monthly peer sessions, about 2 to 4 hours of monthly programming. That's peer sessions, mentor speed dating, that will be divided up over the course of the 6 months. And then as well, every month there will be regular optional workshops, fireside chats, different kinds of panels or other kinds of programming that will be scheduled regularly throughout the 6 months, but that are optional for you to attend. So that would be in addition to the sort of 2 to 4 hours of mandatory sessions. And then in addition, another really important thing that we've found has been really hugely beneficial to the previous cohorts has been that peer network that you get access to. So the program will have 6 to 8 startups in it who are all share that impact-driven focus. And then as well, we have the alumni network of 12 startups. So that's sort of the basics of the program. And like I said, if you have any questions that come up as I'm talking, please put them in the chat or save them for the end, and we'll make sure to dive deeper if you want clarification on anything that I'm saying. But so in addition to the sort of basic program structure I've outlined, I want to emphasize again, as Elvis said, we don't take a fee and we don't, there's no equity, but you do have the opportunity to win some prize money at the end in the demo day. There are also over $100,000 of service provider credits that you can access as a IFH lab participant. And as well after, so if those service credits aren't useful for you right now when you're in the program, you still do get access to them once graduating from the program. You also get access to the FinTech Cadence Slack community, which includes channels where you can share jobs, job postings, where you can share your wins if you want to share them with the community, and as well just engage with hundreds of other startup founders who are experiencing a lot of the same things that you are, and you just want that sense of community as well. And then importantly, our support doesn't end at the end of the program. So you do get ongoing support from the FC team following the program. And we're always here for you to just reach out and say, hey, can you help me with this, this thing, or can you announce this big win to the community? And the other thing is that we've heard over and over again from our cohorts as well that the learning opportunities are also super valuable for their other teammates. So we have co-founders participating, non-C-suite employees, be it marketing or HR, participating in the workshops, participating in the mentor speed dating, and really getting value from that as well. So we always welcome other team members to participate. So this is just some sample workshop topics. In terms of the 3-day kickoff, we cover the value proposition, impact measurement. We do some pitching and some really, it's focused on cohort building. And then these would be other workshop topics that would be included in those optional workshops that you could access over the course of the 6 months. This is just a small sample. There would be, many more than this as well. What's really important to us and has always been really important to us has been hearing what you need. So if the cohort comes to us and says, we're struggling with this question, or we want a workshop on XYZ topic, we'll work to make that happen over the course of the 6 months. So we try to be adaptive to the needs of people who are participating. So quickly to go over the timeline, as you all likely know, the deadline to apply is March 22nd by 11:59 Eastern time. We then will, as a team, we shortlist candidates from everyone who has applied. We hold virtual interviews mid-April with any teams that have been shortlisted. Then we'll kind of shortly after that, we'll notify whoever's being accepted in the program. And the beginning of May will be sort of spent on onboarding, on helping you identify your goals. We then have our in-person orientation May 25th through 27th in Toronto. The program spans from May to the beginning of November, and then we will have our demo day in early November in Montreal or in Toronto. Okay. So this is this is just to give you an idea of some of the folks that we have as mentors in the programmers, industry experts in the program. You can check out our website to see like a full list or a fairly updated list of all of their names and where they work as well. And just want to give a big shout out to our program partners, JP Morgan Chase, Meridian, and then the Canadian Bankers Association and the City of Toronto as well. But I also want to highlight here that although we get funding from JP Morgan Chase and from Meridian to run the program, it's really important to us that this is not a program that is geared towards making sure you work with JP Morgan Chase or Meridian. They are funding us because they believe in this mission. They believe that fintech can play a role in improving people's financial health. And we really want to make sure that through our industry experts and through our demo day, you also get access to folks from most of the major financial institutions in Canada, as well as credit unions, and that you have opportunities to partner with whoever is the best fit for you as a startup. This is as well the service provider. So I mentioned those service provider credits. So this is just to give you an idea of who those service providers are. So quickly on eligibility, this is also all available on our website and I believe on the application as well. Number one, a demonstrated commitment to improving the financial lives of Canadians. That's huge for us. At least one full-time employee. However, we do have some flexibility on this particular criteria. We have had startups participate in past cohorts where the founder was not full-time, but they still were able to get value from participating in the program. So we would evaluate this on a case-by-case basis. You should, though, have a product in market with some users, but that can include test users or, and you could be in beta. So again, there's some flexibility there in terms of what that looks like. And you need to be incorporated in Canada or be able to show a clear plan to incorporate before the end of the program. And then in terms of criteria, so we look at kind of 6 areas: consumer impact. We look at the team and leadership. Do we feel that you would get value from the program? Do we feel like as a founder, as a team, you're coachable and you're going to contribute to the program and be constructive in that way? So we look at scalability and replicability, but I want to echo what Elvis said previously, where that doesn't necessarily mean, are you going to be the next unicorn? Are you going to go on to raise institutional rounds? But we do need to feel like you have a sustainable business. Or if your goal is to grow, if you identify that your goal is to scale, that seems likely and possible. We look at traction and then engagement potential. So how will you engage in the program? I've mentioned a number of times our past cohorts. These are the 2020 and the 2021 cohort. You can learn more about them on our website as well. And check them out. And we have a press room as well where you can see some awesome coverage that they've received. But just want to highlight, we've had founders from 6 different provinces take part over the last 2 years. And that's really huge for us. We really want to bring folks into the program where there's geographic representation from across Canada. We also have had 58% of our companies have female founders and 75% of our companies have BIPOC founders as well. And since participating in the program, we're really proud to say that all 12 of the companies still exist, and even better, they've gone on to raise over $11 million. They've added 50 plus people to their teams, and they've gone on to help over 25,000 Canadians with their financial health. And this is just kind of to give you an idea of some of the really wonderful recognition that our past cohorts have received. So that includes getting identified by the Globe and Mail as one of their 50 emerging leaders or top 100 women of 2021. They've gotten into programs like Next AI and Mass Challenge. and many, many more. There's been a lot of great coverage in the Globe and in other publications of their achievements. And I just wanted to share as well some words that some of our alumni have had to say about their participation in the program and what it's meant for them. You can check out the full testimonials on our website. But we also are really lucky to have a video to share with you from one of our 2021 cohort members, Jonah, who is the founder of MICC.
So cheers. Hey guys, my name is Jonah Chininga and I'm the CEO and co-founder of MICC. MICC is a community fintech platform that mainly focuses on improving access to affordable credit through social payments and credit building solutions. And joining the FinTech Catalyst program was one of the best decisions that we made for our business. Just because before joining the program, we had a product, but we didn't have a business. And then through going through that program, they really helped us refine the structure that we had by working with the cohort that are mainly focused on other fintech solutions, investors, and then advisors within the ecosystem. So I would credit that program to kind of helping us build industry networks, just in terms of the infrastructure that we needed, but then also at the same time, some of the investors that we needed. But my favorite thing about the FinTech Catalyst program is how they are focused on financial health, building solutions that are more sustainable and improve the quality of life for Canadians. And that was the biggest thing because I could relate to that message as someone who experienced those challenges and then what we're trying to solve as well as a company. So I highly recommend it, and then I think it's a great value for any founders that are looking to build their presence within the Canadian ecosystem. So cheers.
Thanks, Jonah. That's kind of the bulk of the content for the presentation. A reminder that the application deadline is March 22nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. And that there's the link to apply. We'll share that in the chat as well, and then and follow up in an email as well to make sure that you have that. It's also on our website, so it's very accessible. And yeah, so I'll open the floor now for any questions. Feel free to raise your hand if you want to ask your question out loud, or otherwise, please share it in the chat.
And before we get to the first question, Molly, just want to add two quick things on my side. So one is, I know a couple of you are working on solutions for small business owners, etc. So I just want to clarify that that does apply for our program. So we haven't talked about it yet, but for financial health, if you're working on financial health for small businesses in Canada, that definitely fits our thesis as well. And then two, for any of you that's not in Toronto or Montreal, we will have travel reimbursements up to a certain point for you to participate into the program. So we want to make it as accessible and inclusive as possible. So those are two quick clarifications, but let's get to the questions first from Anik.
Thank you very much. Is it okay if I speak in French? Because I'm from
Yes,
Quebec.
Feel free in French. We should have teammates here that can respond. Unfortunately, me and Molly can't, but feel free.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go in English. Is it okay to fill the form in French? Because when I looked to the form, all the questions were in English. So I don't know if, because French is my native language, so it's very easy for me to answer in French than in English. Is it okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. Feel free to fill out the form in French. And as well, if it is helpful, I think that we can send you a French version of the question.
Yes, please.
For sure.
Yes, please.
We'll make note of that.
I believe, Anik, if you check F6S, for each question, it should start with English, and then the second part should be the French translation.
For some part, yes, but for the first part of the questionnaire, no.
For F6S. Okay, yes. So we can send, we'll take an action item on our side.
Okay, perfect. And the other question was about the stage of development of the project, because in my case, Like I don't have a prototype yet. I have some wireframes of the project, but I don't have a prototype. Is that okay? Is that stage of development okay to apply, or like I really need a prototype?
I think the main thing is we want you to have had done some validation work. So if you have a wireframe, if you have talked to users and gotten feedback from users, I think what we're really filtering for is that we just don't want you to be super ideation stage because you will be talking to investors and to potential partners. So happy to kind of take this offline also if you want to show us kind of where you're at, and we can probably give you a better
I would
answer.
love to, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Brittany, go ahead.
Thank you for that. So 2 questions. I guess the first one is kind of building on the last question that was asked, is what constitutes kind of like a product in the market. We don't have a digital product per se, we have a manual one, and we're looking to build out our digital product. We have paying users, and we have been in like working as a company for the past few years. So we're really looking to scale up and automate our services instead of allowing them to be manual. So that's what we're attempting to do. Does that constitute a product, like having a manual product and looking to go more digital?
Yeah, absolutely. We have had past cohort members who've been in a similar place. So I think the fact that you have, as you said, paying users and you have something that to work with would be fine.
Yeah, okay, cool. Second question is, from a weekly perspective, what does the schedule look like and time commitment look like?
So it's a great question. So I would look at it more on a monthly basis. So there's not a weekly commitment. So month by month, it changes slightly, but you're looking at a minimum of 2 hours, and that would be a peer session where you're all on as a cohort together, and we're doing different sort of peer activities, peer learning opportunities. Then some months there will, in addition to that peer session, which is monthly, there will also be a mentor speed dating or mentor meeting session where we do these sort of meeting rounds with a number of different mentors. You get to meet with 15, 16 or so mentors in one go. And that's typically like a 2-hour session. So in that month, you'd be looking at like a 4-hour commitment over 2 different sessions in the month. And then there's those optional sessions. So if you really feel like, if you really want and have the time to commit and you see workshops that are of value for you or for other members of your team, then you could look at a much bigger time commitment because you could be signing up to a number of monthly optional sessions. But that's then really up to you, and that's based on your own time and availability and interest.
Okay, thank you.
The one thing I'll add is just with the orientation, we'll ask for about 2.5 days of kind of more intensive in late May. And then obviously with the demo day, that'll be about a day, probably commitment, just being in the space and everything. But other than that, regularly 2 to 4 hours. Ashkin?
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. So I just had a very quick question. Looking at the application, I did see that we can upload a pitch deck, but since it says 30 megabytes, we have a little small also demo of our application as well. So I was wondering if I can, I'm not sure if I put it part of a pitch deck, I don't think it can come up, or you guys, I won't be able, I don't think you guys will be able to see it. Is there any way we can email the demo, or just leave it if we got into the interview round and show it to you guys? Thank you.
Feel free to email it to either myself or Elvis. So my email is molly@fintechcadence.com. So do feel free to email that to us.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I also had a question. Are there tentative dates for the May kickoff? So we are looking at May 25th through 27th. So that's a Wednesday to a Friday. And as Elvis said, that's about 2.5 days. So May 25th and 26th will likely be sort of more full days. And then May 27th would be a half day. I don't see any other questions in the chat. Is there anyone else who wants to ask a question live? Are those in person or via Zoom? So Dan, are you asking about the kickoff? So the kickoff is in person in Toronto. Yeah, the 25th, 26th, 27th is in person. And as Elvis mentioned, there is help with travel expenses available for those who need it. And then the rest of the monthly sessions are virtual and then at the end, the demo day is in person.
One quick note on that. So we obviously recognize everyone's busy. So in the past, what's happened is that typically teams send 2 people to our sessions. We ask at least one of you attend at all times, but sometimes people have to go in and out for meetings, etc. So we'll be out of some sort of co-working space. So there's that opportunity, but as long as there's one person on your team that's participating at all times, and then there will be some opportunity, there's really some shared space for others to work and hop in and out, as long as it's not disruptive.
So I had another question. If the founder would like to pivot and change some aspects of their business, not in an entirely major way, is that encouraged or supported? So I would say yes. Yeah, but Elvis, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, it is definitely encouraged and supported because we know you're early stage founders. So there's going to be pivots. In a lot of ways. So we are committed to the mission of financial health. So let's say you start from financial health and then for some reason you go into, I don't know, like some other, like you go into e-commerce or something like very different, then maybe we'll have that conversation. But I think if you're staying within this general premise of helping improve the lives of Canadians, then that's totally encouraged. And then Darshal also asked, when's the next cohort plan? So typically we run our program once a year. So this is our 3rd cohort, our first one being in 2020. So it won't be until next year around the same time frame. Obviously, it's still a ways away, so can't promise anything. But Darshal, for FinTech Cadence, we also have a ton of other programs. So definitely would recommend you check out our Formathon program or some of our other programs when you're ready as well.
So we have a question about the full-time status. So I did mention it can be flexible. Can we have regular contractors count as the full-time employee? So I would say that when I say it's flexible, it means that we don't necessarily need there to be someone who is a full-time employee. I think if we can see that the team is dedicated to the product, that there's a clear desire and commitment to seeing it through, seeing the startup through, seeing it become something bigger, that eventually you would be able to leave your job and be full-time on that product or that startup, then that's really what we're looking for. We recognize that it takes a lot of capital to start a startup, and not everybody can quit their full-time job and be comfortable living off savings as they get a startup off the ground. And so we want to make sure that the program is accessible to folks who might just not have that possibility available to them, or don't have the networks and the social capital to go full-time on a startup right away before it's making money. So that I hope that sort of helps clarify for the person who asked that question, but yeah. Okay, I'll give a couple more minutes for if there's any other questions, please do jump in. But otherwise, I would say Elvis and I are always happy to take your questions by email, or if you need a little bit more clarification, happy to jump on a call with you to talk through any questions you might have. We will follow up in an email to make sure you have all of the applications, links and everything. And then we have a couple of action items on our end as well to follow through after this meeting. So I hope this was helpful for everyone. It's been really wonderful meeting you all. Oh, I have a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just because I missed the answer earlier. Will the kickoff be in person or via Zoom?
The kickoff and the demo day are in person. So the May 25th to 27th are in person, and then the demo day in November. But the rest of the workshops, the rest of the programming is virtual. And as we said, there is support for travel expenses if those are needed to attend those in-person sessions.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, our the in-person session, we're very excited for it because we didn't get a chance last year, but the in-person kickoff that we did in 2020 is a really exciting thing for you guys as startups. So we get 150, 200 people that are all relevant to you. And even from that kickoff in our 2020 version, that led to actual partnerships or led to follow-on conversations with financial institutions, investors, and that's not even the demo day, right? So that was just a quick intro. So we're excited to do it in person. We'll definitely accommodate for everyone, depending on your personal needs. And if this is an issue, please let us know and we'll figure out something that works. But we just think it's beneficial sometimes to do it in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you all. Again, I'm going to stop recording now. And